Welcome, QBE Fantasy Football owners. It's time once again for your Week 3 recaps. Let's get down to business. Hope you enjoy. Here is Game 1, Corey versus Jake. With James White out having a baby badger, he didn't make the trip to New York to face the Jets for the Patriots. With that being said, they were hoping that Rex Burkhead would step up and make an impact. Well, he didn't disappoint, scoring Corey 16 points and a touchdown for the Patriots. However, it really doesn't matter for Corey since he has Patrick Mahomes to lead him straight to victory. Patrick Mahomes scored 28 points and gives Corey his first 3-0 start to this league ever. Jake doesn't actually watch any of my videos. What's up with that, Jake? So I don't feel like I need to say much about his shitty team. However, Tyler Lockett had a game scoring 27 points and bringing the Seahawks almost to a victory. Oh, and Barkley left the game early with an ankle injury, so hopefully it's nothing serious, or Jake will continue to train for the toilet bowl. Do-do-do, do-do-do, holy crap, this just in. Saquon Barkley is going to miss 4 to 8 weeks, most likely 8 weeks. Whew, that's not too cool for you, Jake. Final score, 107-78. Here's your game of the week, Kelly versus Harry. I've never seen so many points put up in a matchup. Cooper Kupp had 27 points, and Alvin Kamara had the best game of the year so far, putting up 32 points. I put Kamara in my flex because that was the position of the week, and it just so happens he scored the most in that spot, so I get the $5. My team put up a total of 147 points this week, but it wasn't even close to enough. Kelly's team might be the best team this league has ever seen. In 2 of her last 3 weeks, she's scored more than 170 points. This is more than anybody has ever scored in 1 week in this league. If you go back on the sheet, you can see that nobody has scored more than 162, and I think that was Dan, if I'm not mistaken. So she had 5 of her players score 20-plus points this week. McCaffrey had 26, and Keenan Allen put the pedal to the metal and scored 37 points this week. She also had another player score 19. That player escapes me right now, but Kelly crushes the defending champ, me. She better remember, though, this is just the regular season, and there's a long way to go. I hope no injuries happen. Just kidding. I don't wish that upon anybody. But also, Kelly, I'm not putting those hideous colors on my daughter. You're out of your damn mind. Fucking Vikings. Final score, 147-172. Kelly takes this victory. Here's your next matchup. Eric Langfeld versus Pat Edwards. It looks like Eric's team is just average. You know, like the Minnesota Vikings. If he doesn't start getting some players to have breakout weeks, he's going to keep on losing. Currently, he is on a train straight to the loser's bracket. Pat has Mark Ingram go off for 33 points, giving him the easy win over Eric Langfeld. I'm not really sure, though, why he put past his prime Fitzgerald in his flex when that was the position of the week. Looks like Pat doesn't care about money. Pat is hanging on to his undefeated season, however. What a turnaround from the past 3 years. I guess he got tired of losing. Final score, 133-108. Pat takes this one. Here's your next game. Dew versus Bruce. Here are 2 teams that have no chance in hell of winning this week. It would take an absolute miracle for these teams to start winning. Well, luckily for them, they played each other this week, and Amari Cooper had a big game scoring 23 points. And this was easy enough to take down the team that has 2 defenses on his roster. Bruce, my friend, what are you doing? Dew is walking a fine line, however, but with this win, it puts him in striking distance. Final score, 86-54. Yeah, you heard it right, 86-54. Here's another interesting matchup. Eric Odgers versus Dave Petty. Dave had a fairly average week this week, with Brady leading the way for 20 points, and Zeke also had 125 yards but couldn't find the end zone, giving him 15 points. The real big story here is, though, it looks like Eric finally found the extra boost his team needed. I'm thinking I may need to actually have an intervention and check his team for PEDs. Russell Wilson had 41 points on his own. Also, finally looks like the Browns offense is starting to click, even though they lost. Chubb was able to get 100 yards and 15 points. It looks like fully Chubbed is making it harder for the rest of us to win now. Eric breaks his losing streak and wins against Dave. Final score, 123-91. Here's the final game of the week. The software versus Phil. Dan's the software. Dan has Julio Jones score 128 yards and a touchdown, giving him 22 points on the week. However, Dan's running backs, Eckler and Henry, have slow weeks, which give Phil the upper hand. Mike Evans scored 41 points. How could Phil really lose? Phil, why'd you change your name to the toilet? Are you getting tired of being shit on? Well, great work motivating your team to the win over the biggest trash talker of the league. Dan, it might be time to check if there's an update for that software of yours. Final score, 117-85. Hey guys, that wraps up your Week 3 recaps. Hope you enjoyed them. I'm always looking for input, so if you have any input, just send that to me. I take it, I'll put it in there, especially funny stuff. So, anyways, let's take a look at the Week 4 schedule. Looks like we're going to have Harry versus Eric Langfeld. Pat versus Dew. That should be a walk in the park for Pat. Then you got Kelly versus Corey. This is probably the game of the week. Should be a close one. Then you got Bruce versus Eric Odgers. Odgers will roll over Bruce. Bruce, your team is trash. Then you got Jake versus Dan. That'll actually be a pretty close matchup. You can ignore the projected totals. I'm not sure what happened there. Somebody must be hurt. Then you got Dave versus Phil. That should also be a pretty close matchup, but we'll see. Next, I wanted to talk to you guys about the standings this week. Looks like we have Kelly in first place with the amount of points she scored. She's also 3-0. Pat and Corey are also 3-0, but are 100 points behind her. Then you got me and Dan following up with 2-1, and then the rest of the crew, 1 win or less. So the rest of you guys need to step it up and get to winning. Anyways, so that pretty much sums up everything I wanted to say. Let's also plan a get-together for in a couple weeks, maybe some food and drinks after work. That would be a lot of fun. Let's keep this league rolling and have a good week. And I look forward to talking some trash about you next week.